Okay, so what happened is this one is it has area and volume. No, sorry, areas and fundamental theorem of calculus. And we're just going to look at this particular questions. So this is by a teacher. This worksheet is by a teacher, Miss Brown. I use her worksheet a lot. Give it credits where credits due. She does a really good job collecting all those things together. Which is take account into 10% of your grade, which is very, very valuable. And you don't have to be able to do calculus. That's a cool thing about it. You just have to understand how to count the rectangles, how to find slopes, how the fundamental theorem works, and stuff like that. It's actually fairly easy. Okay, so let's start with first question. It says let's read them together. Let f to be continuous functions. So continuous, very, very important. Also the boundaries, and also h of x is equal to this. Now pay attention, this is a y equal to f of x. Has nothing to do with h of x because this graph is f of x. Okay. So far, do you guys have any confusion? This is not h of x graph, this is f of x graph. There's a little bit different because integration of f is equal to h. Okay, and pay attention to the boundary. The boundaries is x. Do you see that x there? Okay, very, very important information. Now, before I do that, what do they want? Let's look at the A. They say they want to find h of 3. So what do you think h of 3 represents? So what do you guys think? Almost. If the boundary is x, to 0 to x, yep, it'd be integration from 0 to 3 of ft dt. So what do you think the answer is if I do 0 to 3? What is it? 11? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. How do I get 11? Or this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't have to do calculus. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh, no, sorry. My bad. It's 11. So because it is 11 here, my fault. So it's 11. I don't know why I count 12. I counted 0 to 4. So h of 3 is equal to 11. Now, what is h prime of 3? Question mark. What do you guys think? Some people can see it right away. Some people take a moment. Some people need to think of fundamental theorem calculus. Some people, they just think in terms of fundamental theorem calculus. I give you processing time to think about those. Well, let's start with the questions. What do you guys think? What do you think h of 3 is? H prime of 3. Yes. Negative 4 is not correct. Sarah Z? The 2 is correct. Good job, Sarah. How did she think about it though? Well, let's think about how did she think of it. Now, how do I think of it? Is kind of make sure you understand this. So h of x, if I do integration of this, right, I get big F of x. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And if I take a derivative of it, that means I derivative both sides. Where's the fundamental theorem of calculus? Minus f of 0 times 0. So that's this h prime of x equal to f of x. Now this, you have to write down for AP exam. This is going to give you 1 point without doing anything else, just by understanding that. Now let's answer a question. What's h prime of 3 is equal to f of 3? F of 3, that means when x equal to 3, what is my output? So in this case, it would be 2. So h prime of 3 is equal to 2. Now remember, this is something we're going to use a little bit later, or immediately or after. So what do you think h double prime of 3 is? I know Sarah Z already know. Good job. Any other people to figure out? Ethan?
Just -2.
-2 is perfect. Because if h prime of x equal to f of x, now h double prime of x is equal to what? Yep. So which is equal to f prime of 3 is equal to h double prime of 3. That means the slope when x equal to 3 on f of x. Well, x equal to 3, it has a down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. So it'd be -2. And then you're done. 3 points for simple points. Easy point for you to get. Understand the relationships. Now let's go back and try to understand more. Let's go back to answer B. Now before I go to B, does everybody understand this before I move on? Caroline, do you understand? Yes? Laurel?
So whenever it says whenever you're taking f prime of 3, you're just taking the slope.
Yeah, so f prime of 3 is basically the graph of f. And you just look at when the slope when x is equal to 3, because prime means derivative, derivative means slope. Yes?
So it's just the reason why it's I guess the way that it is because h of x is equal to the integral of f of x. So whenever you're taking the derivative, it's always one behind, I guess. One
Pretty much, but still, if you write out this, it will help you understand. Yes, they are one behind, they are one level different.
Yeah.
So let's just say in terms of somebody's on third floor and somebody on second floor. So it's kind of like that. So somebody on fourth floor, that person is on.
Okay.
So it's go up simultaneously,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so let's answer. Trevor, do you answer? You got this?
Yeah.
Okay. Sydney? Fake now? Real not? Okay, all right. For what set of value as x is h decreasing? So remember how the questions are asking and what is the keyword. Yes, Gage?
Would it be 4 to 12?
Okay, well, can you explain to everybody else why it's 4 to 12?
So you're just going off of h of x,
Mhm.
right? Not any of your primes.
Mhm.
So that'd be your area under the curve.
Uh-huh.
So as it gets into that whole negative portion, it would be decreasing.
Okay, so that's one way to explain it. So I'm going to explain a little bit differently so it doesn't cause any confusion. What he's saying is if you go into or past that point, it start gonna be the area for the under the curve, it start eating away from the top part, and so the output, it will actually start decreasing after that point. Now, what for me to think about it is always think about what this question's asking. So the question's asking for h is decreasing. So h is decreasing. The way I kind of think about it is h is decreasing. That means h prime of x is less than 0. Does that make sense? Because h of x is a function. Now, according to the first fundamental theorem of like first derivative, a first derivative told you the slope was positive or negative. So that means h prime of x is less than 0. If h prime of x, therefore, is going to lead to f prime of x is less than 0, which is f prime of x, which f of x is less than 0. My bad. F of x is less than 0. So that means f of x is below x-axis. So went from 4 x to 12. Now pay attention, is a 4 to 12 because this is a 12 here, but it's not including 4. I'm going to erase that equal sign, and just because at 4 it's not really negative yet. At 4 is actually equal to 0, so it's not increasing or decreasing. It's the moment before start decreasing. So it cannot account for 4, so it'd be 4 to 12. Am I going too fast? Ethan, understand? Dashan? Yes? Sarah Jung? Got it? Okay. Pretend everybody understand. Now, at what x value does it reach its maximum? So they are asking x, which is the input. So where does the x reach its maximum? Yes? People have been telling me that. This second time is people telling me that. But it's going toward maximum, but it's not really. So maximum is going to be a single x value. So what are you telling me between 0 to 2 is actually a function is increasing. It's still not decreasing yet. So in order to create a maximum, it has to go up and come back down. Okay, Gage? 4. Why x equal to 4?
With your whole thing you were saying about f of x, it would be when f of x is changing from positive to negative.
Right. Right. So, you're going to say x equal to 4. You're going to say x equal to 4 here because, and you need to justify this because f of x is equal to h prime of x and change from positive to negative. If I want to justify it to get a point, positive to negative. So, and this is what we did before. This is a point. They start from. They're still increasing, and at this point start going down because that's where the 0 is of the h prime of x, which is the critical value, which is h of f of x equal to 0. Now here's my question. It's not here. What is the maximum value here? If I say x is here, but what will be the maximum value? What would be the value? Ethan?
Oh, I was gonna say, would it just be like whatever h of 4 is? I didn't look at what it was. Like I just have the.
Yep, it'll be h of 4. So he's saying h of 4. So what do you think h of 4 is?
Isn't it just 12?
Yep, it's 12. The reason why you're going to count one more box here is going to be all the way to there. So it was 11 before. It's just adding 1. And then once you go to 12, now it started going below x-axis. The area under the curve becomes negative. And they start taking away from the positive value. Kind of like my stock market for the last 2 days. Which is bad. Try to not look at it when you happen. You get a heart attack. For those of you guys don't understand microeconomy, those of you guys taking microeconomy right now is the interest rate is going to go up. The interest rate go up, it's going to matter of people buying houses because they have to take a loan. The interest rate go up. That means they have to pay more. So they refuse to spending more. If they refuse spending more, it will push a lot of things go into recessions. But they have to fight it because inflation costs too much. Right now, inflation is too high because everything costs a lot more, which is U.S. debt is way too much to overcome. So they have to fight inflation due to increase interest rate. But if you increase the interest rate, just gonna reduce innovation, reduce spending, reduce everything. So it's kind of like it's the very difficult cusp of problems that United States have. So that's a macroeconomic lesson to you. But just everybody should know a little bit. What time we get off here? 8 minutes? Okay, good. We have some time. So do you guys understand why h of 4 is equal to 12? Okay. Now, let's answer the next question. At what x value does attain its minimum, and what is the minimum value in here? Yes.
7.
No, because 7 is f of x reach minimum. It does not represent for h. I know you already know, and you ask other people. Caroline, what do you think? She's shaking her head. That's better than nodding your head. Nodding your head is pretend that you understand. How about that?
Does it not have a minimum? It never switches from.
Well, okay, so minimum. So here's the thing. Minimum can occur with increasing to decreasing, right? Decreasing, increasing, right? But can also happen at the endpoints. Okay, so when I ask you absolute minimum, it's not just the graph going like this is the minimum. Is sometimes I hear that's minimum. And that's where my stock is right now. Sorry, I had to make fun of myself. Life's too short to not make fun of yourself. And you hope that it's not a minimum. You hope that it's going like this, but it just never happened. You're just going like this. And you start crying. And then go down more. And the next day go down more. Oh well, it's life.
It has to go up at some point.
Yeah, that's the way you look at it, right? It has to go up somewhere. It cannot keep on going down. Or they can go bankrupt.
Are you doing okay today?
I'm doing fine. I'm not going to cry in a second when you left in my class. I'm just kidding. I'm not. It's okay. I'm a very cheerful person. I look things positively. Okay, so at what x value attain is minimum, and what is the minimum value? So, yes. So what do you think is?
So it's probably one of the endpoints, right?
Okay. Okay, you say 13, but the problem is the boundary happened at 12. So what do you think would be a better value? Yep, 12. 12. Not only that 12, right? 12 is going to be, you have to know, says, well, 12 is because it's happened at the end. So you have to check the critical value, which is the 0, and you also have to check the end, which is beginning. It's also a good point to check, because sometimes the beginning is the minimum. You wish your stock market beginning is minimum, right? It can only go up.
How could the beginning be the minimum?
It can be, if a function keep on going up, yeah, the beginning is the minimum.
Okay. I thought you meant in this graph.
Yeah, that's what I wish my stock market to be, right? When I bought it, it's at minimum. Yes. Going to the moon. Right. So what is a minimum value here? Now you have to take a think about this, right? You know it's at 12. So what will happen?
It's probably going to be negative.
It's not negative 12, but it's pretty close though. Almost. You're getting colder. It's 14 and a half. Okay, let's take account, let's say y is 14 and a half. I'm gonna show you that, just look at the thing, let's look at green. Green is like stock market, right? Green is good. So at here, integration from 0 to 4 of f of x is dx is equal to what? Equal to 10, 11, 12. So that's equal to 12. Does that make sense? Now this part is red. And then that's that, you know, so you think about integration from 4 to 12 of f of x dx. Now that's equivalent to this triangle, right? So that triangle is 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 over 2. Plus, it's a trapezoid, so the trapezoid has a width, has a height of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the height because I use a trapezoid, that's part of the height. So it's going to be 5 times what? And then again, this is all negative. 5 times 1 plus 6 over 2. And again, this is all negative. So that's equal to negative of, this part is going to be 9 plus 7 over 2. So 35 over 2. So that's equal to negative, well, that's 17.5, I think. 17.5 is 9 plus 17.5 is what? 26.5. So 26.5 here. So then it's going to add this to 12 plus negative 26.5. So it's equal to negative 14.5. And that's a value. Another way to look at this is this area here. No, actually, look at this first. Look at this part here. Cancel out with this part. Does that make sense? Because they have equivalent slope, so this part will cancel out this part. And this 8 here, I'm going to cancel out with this 8 here. And then I'll just add 1, 2, 2.5. And then here, and add up everything here. So it's going to be